Well, New Orleans, it seems like we have this conversation every damn year, but the team makes so few moves in the offseason, and they can never get back to the old days of Drew Brees. That being said, how can they get out of this hole? Let's take a look back on the season to see what can be fixed. In the 2023 offseason, the New Orleans Saints decided to move on from Jameis Winston as the starting quarterback, keeping him around as a backup, but trading for longtime Raiders quarterback Derek Carr. This move at the time made sense. The team had some weapons to compete, and Carr was a solid quarterback on a rough team, or so it was thought, so it was seen as a win-win move. So how did Derek do in his first season down in the Bayou? Well, let's go back to week 1. They started off the season with a 2-0 record after beating the Titans and Panthers by a combined 4 points. After this, they suffered a close loss to the Packers and were blown out by the, at the time, impressive Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was the first sign of doom for this team, but it would be a long and prolonged death for this season. After this, they went on to absolutely demolish the New England Patriots by a final score of 34-0. But then they lost to the Texans and Jaguars. Both games were winnable. Both games were one-possession games, and it was awful. But by the end of October and early November, this team began to get going once again by beating the Colts and the Bears to improve to 5-4 on the season, and they were still in the race for the playoffs. That was until they decided to drop the next 3 games to the Vikings, Falcons, and Lions. A good coach would have found a way to win at least one of those games, especially in the tank division of the NFC South. At 5-7, however, they were still alive, and a couple of wins over the Panthers and Giants helped significantly. Now they just needed to ride the wave, and they should be in a decent spot, but the biggest challenge of the year was yet to come with this game against the Rams. This game was make or break for both teams. The winner had a significantly better chance at making the playoffs, but the loser was almost eliminated. That being said, the Saints did not rise to the occasion, falling to 7-8 in another bad, awful game coached by the Saints. But they did end up getting 2 wins to close out the year over the Bucs and Falcons to help improve them to 9-8 and have a chance. But in the end, it just was not enough as the Buccaneers ended up winning the South and the Saints missed out on the wild card due to a win by the Packers and the Seahawks. Overall, 2023 was a year of growth for this team. They have some weapons to help them, but scheming just seemed flat. This team has the potential that they are not living up to, and I think the best answer is to get rid of head coach Dennis Allen. I was not a huge fan of Allen, and I think his seat has been hot for some time now, and it should be just a matter of time before he is gone. Even though he did finish the season with a 4-1 stretch, it will be tough to fire him, but I think that is the right answer. This season also likely leads to a cleaning of management, with Derek Carr being as a bridge quarterback for the future, and management needs to do this so that they can prove they can build a true Super Bowl contender, which they haven't done since the days of Drew Brees. If you want to compete, Saints, just clean house and try to rebuild for, I don't know, the 1, 2, 3, maybe 10th time since the retirement of Drew Brees.